and welcome to another edition, new episode, Cruising with the Coaches, conversation with Julie and Lee. Julie Cruz, how you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
It's still January. I'm waiting for June, but no, no, I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Um, yeah, it's January. I feel like in the NBA season. I know you're a huge NBA fan. Kidding, kidding.
I'm gonna
But
say, huh?
I know she's like, "Are you talking to the right person?" But it's a whole long season, right? Starts off, they got this in-season tournament now on to drive interest, right?
hmm
But it goes through this middle part of the season where the players don't care, fans don't care,
Don't
and it's
care. Yeah.
and it's kind of like now, like that's just it's January. Like
Yeah.
where's March, April, May, June? Well, March is a big month, but anyway, we'll move on to that. We'll move on. So today's show, and this is why like some of these other months, or maybe January is actually great. We're talking about traveling. Yeah,
hmm
talking about traveling solo.
Yes.
So, well, before we get into it, is there anything you'd like to share? Because I feel like I hit a really good nerve with the yes
I
there.
I just find it to be a must. I think, like some people, it's either something people genuinely like to do or something that
Mhm.
people are just genuinely, absolutely frightened to do and would never do in their life. But I
Ooh.
think it's something people should try at least once. At least once.
I think most of my solo travel has probably been for work, you know.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, let's jump into it, right? Let's go for it. Solo travel. This comes from uh, trustedhousesitters.com and why travel alone, right? This is a question that is asked by both new and seasoned solo female travelers. So while this article is geared towards female travelers, keep in mind, folks, this can pertain to any travelers. Okay, but it's asked by female travelers before an adventure. Going on vacation alone can be daunting if it's your first time. Solo travel can also raise questions about safety. um, it might leave you feeling bored or lonely, but maintaining personal safety is hugely important for any trip, not just female travelers. But also a solo trip, it doesn't need to be isolating or dull. And actually, it can be the opposite. So here are 6 tips for solo travelers that it will it make you feel empowered, and there are psychological benefits of traveling alone. So let's jump into the first tip. Number one, it makes it easier to meet friends, new people, including four-legged friends. So for any pet people or pet lovers, this could be an ideal chance to make new furry friends as well as the human friends.
hmm
If you're a solo traveler who loves company of a canine or a kitty, becoming a house sitter is an ideal choice. Not only will you save money on the accommodation, but you'll also have a chance of staying in some fantastic or with some fantastic fur babies in a real home. Do you prefer the four-legged friends or the two-legged friends in your travels?
So I mean, I hope this doesn't upset anyone. But I am not.
All hate mail,
I
goes
know.
to
Send it to Lee. But I am not a lover of four-legged and four-legged animals. I'm just not. It's not that I don't like them.
I don't think you're not mean to them.
I'm not mean
You
to,
don't hate them.
but
You're not trying to
they like
travel with them.
they like me. I don't know why, but they like me. Um, but I do not have. I mean, I've had pets. Don't get me
Sure.
wrong.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I can't see myself.
Traveling specifically.
I think I could be a pet sitter because I think yeah, I could see myself doing that temporarily. Sure, like to
Yeah,
go.
we're not talking long term. See,
Yeah.
folks, this is real time processing right here.
I could do that. I could do that, but like, that wouldn't be my purpose. I mean, just
you got to be a good friend. Note to viewers, you got to be a good friend of Julie's in order for her to house sit if you got a pet.
facts.
I
Because
think
when I travel, like for me, the whole thing is not being
tied down.
like in yes to a
Well,
specific
no pun intended. Like tied down with a pet, you know.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
just to not have to be anywhere by a specific time at any like
Because
to
if
have
you're
to
house
cut
sitting with the pet,
short.
they've got to eat. They
Yeah,
got to go out.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So to have to cut a conversation short or cut a dinner short or like whatever, and like, oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go now. I have to go let the dog out, or I have to go do this. And I'm like, it kind of totally negates the whole purpose of a solo trip.
well, for those pet people, just hang tight because wait for some of the other tips.
Yes.
But I think I like the house sitting idea.
Yeah, that
right?
is cool. Yeah.
Whether it involves the pets or not, okay, I think that's a personal preference. But that would be a cool way to. It's almost like going to an Airbnb, but for somebody you trust, right?
Right.
Not just some random person who's renting the Airbnb to you. Like, the people, you're probably going to take care of their stuff even more so than it would be your own.
Yeah.
But you're in some other place that's not home. So,
but the meeting of people for sure, because I like,
oh yeah,
ultimately, you're not going to go sit at the table. You're going to go sit at the bar. If you end up sitting at the bar, you're going to talk to the bartender. When you're talking to the bartender is going to tell you the greater places to go. So like it's always going to be when you're on a solo trip, you're going to hear the greater places to go to. Just through conversations instead of just looking through, brochures or catalogs and what have you. So,
or looking online like, oh, what's the hottest place? Yeah,
exactly.
Word of mouth is always great advertisement.
Yes. Like
absolutely.
I just recently went on my trip and the lady, I was at the bar and she walked in and come to find out she had just retired from Vegas and she retired in February. So she had only been
like that's fresh.
Yes. So she had only been in St. Croix for like 10 months. And, but she walked in and they were all talking like they were family, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And then she's talking about her boyfriend who plays saxophone for the Sunset Cruises and, so it was just like, I just had the greatest time with her. And I'm like, I didn't know this was like a possibility. Like, okay, so retired St. Croix, find a boyfriend who plays saxophone. Okay. I'm sitting here taking notes like, all right. Because she's just down there living her best life. I'm like, wow.
So all you saxophone players out there, again, do not send me the message. I will forward it if you send it to me. But
I was just so impressed with her because she was just, like I said, living her best life. So yeah, I was like, wow. But
nice. But it's also conversation, right? Like,
yes.
If you're with somebody traveling together, you may not have had that conversation.
Right.
That's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Saxophone players. Got it.
Yes.
I don't want to look at my email now. No, I'm kidding. All right. Tip number 2. There are psychological benefits from traveling alone. Many psychological benefits of traveling alone. Solo travel benefits the mind and the soul. Alone time is important. It allows for self-reflection, leads for personal growth. Boy, we got a theme here in 2025, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
But also confidence and self-assurance. Solo travel also helps you to learn more about yourself and who you are without the influence or sway of other people. you can map out a journey and just enjoy it, you know?
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. It- but it's funny how I know we did a lot of the last show, the first show 2025, 7 things you should walk away from. There was a theme of personal growth in that show. Here it comes again, personal growth. Is this the universe trying to say something to our viewers or to the
I mean,
hosts?
just in general, overall.
Totally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're not growing, if you're not thinking about trying to become better, why not?
Yeah.
Just a question. Just a question for the viewers.
And I also think, with travel, you're busy worrying about what the other person might want, or if you're on a family
Mhm,
trip, like what everybody else wants,
mhm.
especially if, you have 2 or 3 children, who's going to eat who's going to, what time is everyone going to get up? Are you going to require everyone to get up at the same time? Like, what is the plan? Like, is there
Is
hopefully just
everyone gonna be happy when they get up at the same time?
exactly? And it's funny because we recently, well, it's been a year now, but we went on a
Mhm.
cruise and my mom was it was hilarious because she was dumbfounded because we operate in such an odd way and it just works for our family.
Sure.
We are all gym people, but gym we do gym, we do alone time, we do family
Mhm,
time, and we do
mhm.
but it took a long time to get to that space of it's just as much my vacation as it's their vacation.
Right,
And I
right.
mean, even though I paid for it, but it's okay. So like trying to respect that. And
Sure.
so like we do gym time and
And then you go
it
do
doesn't
your thing
but
during.
it doesn't mean we're going at the same time. So they might
Right.
go at a different time than I'll go. And it also helps with showering and everything like that. So so we're all going in different rotations. So we
Mhm.
might have lunch together
Right.
or but we might not. But then we'll definitely do dinner together.
I was
So
gonna say, yeah, the cool thing is that after that whole day, you come back at that one time.
yes,
That
yes.
also gives you something to share. Like what
But like
you
for my
yeah.
mom, it was like she was like, "What is going on?" Like,
Like where's and you're going. She's like, can you give me the calendar? Where's the schedule of who's doing what when?
and it's hard because you're like synchronized, but not. Like you're
Yeah,
just doing your own thing, and you
yeah,
don't realize it until you have someone else as who's involved, and you're just kind of like, no, because like kind of go do your own thing, and then we'll just kind of all get together, and and then you're like,
yeah.
oh, like we didn't let her know the program, kind of a thing. But it's good. I'm glad that we're at a place that's like that because it kind of
Mhm.
I hope they will vacation the same way with their families moving forward, kind of a thing. But
Well,
they're
it takes
adults
the
now.
but it also takes the pressure off, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
again, I know we're talking about solo travel, and if you're not traveling solo, right, the pressure to do something that everybody
Wants
likes
to do.
at the
Yes.
same time in the
Yes.
same place, there's yeah, you
Yes.
can't please everybody, you know?
No, no. So like even learning how to treat a family vacation almost like a solo trip is just as nice because like I don't
Totally.
want to be on a family vacation and want to go like this the whole time with my
Defeats
family.
defeats the purpose of the vacation, right? Like
Exactly.
you need a vacation
Exactly.
from the vacation. Like, no, that's not how it works. Not how it works.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you're gonna come back and be like, I should have just gone alone anyway. So
Hence why I started doing solo trips in the first place because I was so exhausted from the family trips. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I, yeah, I think I gotta do some solo trips that are not work related. I'm
You
trying.
do, seriously, because it's not the same. It's not the
I
same thing.
you're absolutely right because I'm,
Yes.
there might be a moment or two that is like enjoyable when you're not working,
Right.
but the main thing is that you're at this place for work. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a goal for 2025.
There
That's the
you go.
personal growth part. There you
There
go.
you go.
Number three. I didn't realize I had already advanced it. This was kind of cool, actually. Your language skills will improve. So, learning language thrives when you're a solo traveler, and it's a big benefit to traveling alone in a foreign country. And now, this cracked me up with your trusty phrase book. You mean with Google Translator? Okay. uh, this will help you connect with local communities and make new friends. Look for nearby language classes, or looking for them can be a great way to meet fellow travelers and learners. If you're feeling bold, strike up a conversation at a local dog park with your new pup pal. So clearly they are traveling, or at least who wrote the article, likes our four-legged friends, right?
Oh, obviously.
But but that was kind of cool. And I've thought about it. Not I haven't even years ago, right? Gone to like Cancun or places like that, but not going around the touristy areas, going into like the city center, going to the actual market, right? I know I was on a trip for work in Bermuda, but actually going into Bermuda, right? Not it was very rare, didn't have much time, but finding those local things, right? That's how you learn about different cultures and different places. That is cool, and I can imagine doing that on solo travel for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny you should say that because um I always say we because I'm so used to being family. I was in a store, and this was more picking up on social cues because I'm
Mm,
watching this guy with this child,
mhm.
and he's doing the
Ooh,
what I'm saying? Or like
ooh, ooh.
I'm like, are you
You
okay?
okay?
Like,
Right.
are you all right? And it turned out he forgot his child's bathing suit,
Oh,
and it was on the ship. And so he thought he could just pop into a store, pick one up, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. She was like
yeah.
8 years old. And he, like you were just saying, was staying in like the tourist stores. But I had been
Sure.
in the
In
more
the
into
city
town.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was just like, well, you don't necessarily, I like, she's 8 years old. Like, he's like, first of all, he's looking at a woman's suit. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to fit her, da, da, da. So I ended up walking him down to like a general store and like
Mhm.
talked him into a t-shirt and shorts and was just like, she's a little
Because
girl.
it's
It's okay.
and I was saying that's gonna be enjoyable. Like she wants to get in the
She
water
just
like
wants to get
this.
in the water. Like, it doesn't matter, and
Yeah.
I'm laughing, and it come to find out we're sitting there, we're talking. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I
Yeah.
I initially didn't say it because I'm thinking to myself, where's mom? Like, I'm confused. Like, why are you doing this? Like, this is so weird. But then by the time we got to the store that I was taking him to, I was like,
Mhm.
so where is mom? He's like, oh, she's already in the water. I was like, okay, mom. She was like, you go do it. But no, but it goes back to what you said. I had been in, like the more general stores, like,
Right.
in,
Where people live. Like where
yeah,
they have to do things whether tours are there or not, you know?
yes, yes. And so I was able to take him into a store where, hey, I know you can get this, and let's just do that. And she doesn't necessarily, she's 8 years old, dude. Like, she doesn't need a bathing suit type of a thing.
Right. Like
And
the
he
goal is to
was
get in the water. Yeah.
exactly, and he was just so excited, and he was so happy. And he's like, how long have you lived here? And I'm like, oh, honey, I don't live here. I'm a tourist too. And he's like,
You're
oh,
like,
okay,
I'm staying for the next month, but I don't live here. No,
like, I wish. Oh my God. But like you
sounds
said,
like
it's
mom had some solo traveling.
mom was doing her own solo trip, wasn't she?
Oh, I did not expect that answer. I
Yes,
thought you were gonna say like she's back on the ship
I was
or
floored. I
she's
was floored.
doing something
She was
different.
already, oh, she's already in the water.
I am not.
I wasn't even mad at her. I wasn't even mad at her. I was sitting there like, you go, mom.
And you
I
know
got
what?
you.
if I'm that dad at that point, guess what? Whatever clothes you got on, we getting wet because I don't know if I'm gonna go try to find something at that point. It's not gonna be the end of the world, like you gonna
Right.
get in the water. But
But
yeah,
all that little girl's gonna remember is how her dad took her to the store and found her something so that she can get in the water. So
absolutely,
like I was like, this is all good. This is all good. I love it. I love it.
Well, see,
So
and that's why our fur babies and four-legged friends love you too.
oh
It's
like
just all right. They love you.
I don't know. This
Um,
person loves fur babies for sure.
Before Julie quits the show, we're gonna take a break. We'll take a break and we'll come back with the last 3 tips of why solo travel is beneficial. So hang tight, go feed your fur babies, take them out, whatever you got to do. Come back after the break. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back from the break. Hopefully, you're chilling with your fur babies and they can watch and listen too. It's all good because they might want to travel solo too at some point. But
I think
most
it's a
of
little
them do.
difficult.
No, most of them do. Think about it. Back when I had a dog growing up, she ran away quite a bit, but
Oh,
but but would come back. I got to share it real quick and we'll move on. I promise. But she would run away, and at some point we stopped looking for her, right? Because she would always come back and be sitting by the door, ready to
okay.
come in. And it's funny because my mom was like, ran away, didn't you? So there was one time this would run away in the winter too, right? Poor thing was almost, I mean, she didn't freeze, but by the door. And my mom was like, guess you'll learn next time, don't you? Won't run away. Waited till the morning to let her in. I was cracking up. So
Oh, damn.
the
Yeah.
dog did some solo traveling. I'm just saying, pets will travel solo if they want to. Not quite what we're talking about here, but yeah, I don't think that's a tip for anybody to follow. Don't run
No.
away and then wait by the door. No. All right, so getting back into our tips for solo travel, here is number 4. And I promise we are definitely on a theme for 2025 so far with our show. But it's important to leave your comfort zones now and again. And so I'm just going to say, as a traveler, right? Not necessarily as a female traveler, but as a solo traveler, there will be certain occasions that you will be out of your comfort zone. You heard about the language, so testing your language skills or different activities, meeting new people, those are good things. Of course, you should never attempt anything if you feel unsafe, right? But leaving your comfort zone for socializing, exploring, and learning new things is all part of the experience. It's a form of personal growth, and it will build confidence and help you realize things that you didn't realize about yourself. You can also find cool places and people you've never encountered before if you had stayed home. So here's that comfort zone thing again, but I think it's true, right? Like
Right.
if you, as a solo traveler, like the world is your playground, right? Like you
Right.
get to go do and see and talk to whoever while being safe. And the reason I didn't specify the female travelers because I think it's important. Male travelers solo need to be safe too,
Oh, of
right?
course. Of course.
I don't think you should go around traveling looking like a target, right? You shouldn't look like a mark. Yes, you might not be from that particular place, but the one of the things that I try to teach people in traveling is read, right? Look at signs, kind of map it out before you're going somewhere so you kind of have an idea of the area, but like read stuff, right? Even when you're walking. I see so many people, they come to DC, right? And, I'm traveling on public transportation, and these people are standing in the middle of somewhere looking like this. I'm sorry, you look like a target. If that's what you're thinking, right? I can tell you're lost. I can tell you don't know what to do. I can tell you don't know where you're going. Kind of walk along, look at what other people are doing, and read as you go. Just my tip for solo travelers in being safe. Um, but what would you say to that? You know
I
about
mean, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I did. Like, there was a whole festival going on where I was at, and where there's a lot of people, obviously, be where there's a lot of people.
yeah
Um, there was oh, like the beaches, like kind of like knowing where you're going, before you go there, kind of a thing. Like kind of plop out where it is you plan on going. Don't go around asking a whole lot of questions like, how do I get to blah 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 blah. Like, kind of know where. I mean, in this day and age, we don't have a whole lot of reason to not know where we're going, kind of a thing.
yeah
Um,
you can have some idea for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then if you do, you find that spot like, oh my gosh, there was a little. It was just a. Of course, I always like the little dive bars. That's like and
But those are the best ones. Those are the best ones.
yes, yes. And there was the bartender. He was super sweet,
Mhm.
and was like right on the beach, and just
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
yeah, and super easy to talk to. He's telling me where to go, what to do, and what have you. And then I
Mm.
come back the next day. I had a breakfast burrito. I was like, I went there like literally every day. I was like, all right, like where do I go now? Just
Right.
like you do this, this, and this. I'm like, all right, cool. So then, like, but that's where I had that. I think I posted about a jambalaya taco. Oh my god, that taco was so bomb.
I
But
can.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so just, if you go somewhere and it feels good, don't be afraid to not, to just go back, and
Mhm.
just I don't
And see
I
what else happens. Well,
exactly.
again, I remember being in Bermuda, and I think as Americans, we rightfully so can be very distrustful of strangers, right?
Yes.
We were going on. There's these crystal caves, right, in Bermuda, and Bermudians are super chill. Like
Mm,
they are so chill. And we were going to the city center. We were going to catch the bus, and one of the elder gentlemen was sitting. He was like, "Oh, you guys going?" Or he said, "Where are you going?" And we're looking around like he talking to us. Like, what's going on? Not only did he take us, it was maybe like 30 minutes from where we were staying, right? So
mhm.
drove us there. He's telling us different stuff about the island. We got there. He was like, "Cool, I'll wait here until you guys are done." Wait, what? Like that's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
And so he waited. He was like, "Hey, so how'd you guys enjoy it? How was?" took us back, and
Isn't that so weird though? Like they want a review, and you're just kind of like, it was great.
we were, and he would not. I was going to give him money, right? Because okay, you drove your own car, cost gas, whatever. He was like, no. He was like, this is how we roll. This is what we do. I was like, now again, that wasn't solo travel, but that's, I think, as Americans, we're highly distrustful of strangers.
No.
And I'm not saying you should trust every stranger anywhere you go.
No, I get that.
But I think you can tell when people are genuine and authentic, right? So either my whole family would have disappeared, or and we all came back. So there you go.
But like even at the place that I stayed, the owner was on the premises, so that was really cool. And then he was very hands-on. Like he was like, "How are you getting to the airport? What's your situation?" La da da da. And I was like, "Well, you know, they didn't have Uber, so he's like, let me reach out to my man. He'll take care of you." You know, I was like, I had hours before I was going to the airport. So he's like, all right, I'll hold on to your bags. You go do what you got to do, you know. And so I was like, all right,
that's building the relationships too, right?
Exactly.
Man, there's something to be said for that, for sure.
Yeah, and so I'm like standing there. He's like, iron, and I'm like, what? I don't need an iron. He's like, that was the guy's name, and he's like, iron. Yeah, he's like, iron. Take her to Polly's, and I'm like, where's Polly's? And so I went to the place for breakfast called Polly's, and I'm like, okay, you know. So it was just, you know, he knew I was there alone, obviously, because he knew the reservation was by myself, but he was like super just whatever
like
she
out
needs.
For you.
Yeah, whatever she needs. You know, like he's like, oh, are you going to the Jovi Festival today? And I'm like, should I? And he was just like, yeah, probably not today, maybe tomorrow. Today it's really crazy. And I'm like, oh, thank you for that.
Thank you for looking out for it. Well, and again, it feels weird at first because you're like, should you be so much in my business?
But yes, but no, he was just like, yeah, maybe not tonight. Tonight's probably not a good night. You want to go tomorrow? And I was like, all right, so you know, cool. He's like, tomorrow they'll have the food, they'll have the bands and everything like that. He's like, tonight it's kind of rowdy, and I'm like, perfect, you know. So it's like excellent,
nice.
So it was great. It was great.
Good looking out. Good looking out.
Yeah.
Well, tip number 5, as for solo travelers, and I think we've kind of mentioned this already. You are the decision maker. Early morning walk. You want to try an all vegan place. You know, anything you want to do for lunch, whatever it is you want to do, like that's your choice. You get to do what's right for you, right? Anything you want to add to the decision making? Like, I mean, I think that's kind of
the greatest. It's just the nicest. you change your plans. You know what I mean? If you don't have to set an agenda that we're doing this by this time or this by that time. Like if you change your plans, you've changed your plans, and you don't have to verify those plans with anybody. You just change them. Period.
You can zig, you can zag.
Yes,
that's how I roll. That's why I got to do it without going to work or without it being work travel, because you're tied to actually doing the work sometimes.
Yes. And it was like, I actually had met somebody who was on the cruise, and it was cool because I ain't gonna lie, when because you know, when a cruise ports, then they got to dip out by, you know, like I think it was like 5:30. They had to be back on the ship. So when it came 5:30,
make sure.
And I was kind of like, because I knew it was coming to an end, you know, because it was just like, sweet. So then I knew I was going to see sunset and everything like that. So like, it was just the perfect in and out of just like, it was almost to my taste. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, oh, okay, like in spurts. Like, all right.
It's exactly what you need when you need it without, I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Well, here's the last tip, you guys. I think this one might even be the most important. Budgeting became a whole lot easier.
Yes.
Saving sense is a big part of solo travel. You are the master of your destiny. Okay, a bit dramatic here, right? Master of your own destiny. But I think this is cool. If you're on a house sit, you're already saving money. And then why not use that money you're saving for something else, right? In that area. So like budgeting, right? You don't have to It's not 3, 4, 5, 6 people. You're also not worrying about, okay, if it's a big trip, having people save up. Like you got to plan it 8, 9 months out the way, right?
Right.
Um, and anything you'd like to add, solo traveler, about solo traveling before we wrap up today?
Just like I said, I love it, and I think it's just definitely something that everyone should try at least once. And if I think you get a taste of it, you'll like it. And just make sure that you do it at least one time, just once. Just do it for yourself one time, and then hopefully you'll get a taste for it and want to do it more than that one time. Because
I,
I love it. I love it.
I think it's empowering too, right? It's
Yeah.
empowering. You find out about yourself. I actually have a friend who did it. Now she's got 6 kids, I believe,
Oh.
and so everyone was at home except her and the baby. So
Hmm.
not only did she travel, but she traveled with a baby. And she told
Hmm.
me like this was the first time she had made the plans because normally her husband was the one doing all this planning, right?
Okay.
So she did all that, like rented a car, flight, all this with a baby.
Oh
It was
wow.
like on a
Good for
10-day trip
her.
and then went back home. And the coolest thing was she was like, she gets to share that adventure and the stories with her kids, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, that's cool. How
That is
so
cool.
you can, and I still think that's solo traveling because the baby didn't do much but probably
No.
eat and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. No, that's solo. That's solo.
But that was cool. And so yeah, the empowering part I think is pretty important, you know.
Very cool.
Well, folks, we always love it when you are here with us on the show. Don't forget, get the YouTube channel there. Hit the link. And no, I'm not doing the like and subscribe thing. I'm not doing that. But but I mean, yes, like and subscribe. I'm just not doing it in a certain way. But there's our YouTube channel there. And also, you can find us on Spotify. Just go to Spotify, search for the Live All Good podcast, search for Cruzin with the Coaches, and you'll find our logo. And you get to enjoy every episode with your favorite co hosts on your favorite show. So, welcome to 2025 again, y'all. And until next time, Lee and Julie signing out.